Well, today marks 1 year since Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a quote-unquote special military operation, which of course we know was the launch of a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. And there are reports now that Russia is planning a major offensive to coincide with the anniversary, with Ukraine's defence minister warning Russia could call on nearly 500,000 troops. Well, joining me now is an advisor to Ukraine's defence minister, Yuriy. Yuriy, thank you for joining me. What's the feeling in Ukraine as we mark this anniversary?
Hello, and thank you for inviting me. Now, the feeling is, it's a mixed feeling because it's a year during which our country, our people have suffered so much as we've, not suffered in a long, long time. We've lost our cities, we've lost some of our people, but at the same time, it's a feeling of being proud of ourselves because we're still standing, we're still fighting for our freedom, for global freedom. We are pushing back the enemy. We are confident that we will win, and we will do everything that victory comes this year in 2023.
You are confident that victory will be had this year, 2023?
Well, as far as we are concerned, and as far as what we have to do, we will do it. Of course, a lot will depend on, how fast we will be receiving the military support from our Western allies.
I mean, how does this war end? It's very clearly a matter of principle for us here in the West to make sure that Russia does not win this war. It sends a bad message to Russia, and it certainly sends a bad message to China, or in their books a good message, but it would be bad for us in the West. How do you see this war actually ending? Do you repel Putin's army back into Russia and get rid of them? Are there massive lives lost? Where does it end?
Well, it ends with Ukraine reinstating our territorial sovereignty the way it was in 1991, which means within our internationally recognized territories. And that, of course, includes Crimea. Now, this war will end on the battlefield. That is clear to everyone by now. It is not possible to negotiate with a terrorist state, which cannot be trusted because, there's hardly any one time when they've honored their commitments in terms of their relationship with Ukraine and with other members of the international community. So we have to persevere. We are determined. We are resilient. Our allies stand with us. We are supported by the coalition of free nations around the world. And we are confident that everything is possible. The only thing is time. Time is very often used by Russia as enemy. So we have to step up our efforts. Our allies have to step up their efforts, send us all the weapons that we need so that we can get it done and over with in 2023.
Well, we've been hearing these reports of Russia planning supposedly a major offensive. What have you heard about it and how it might play out?
Well, look, we've been hearing about these plans of Russia to have an offensive as well. But apparently during the last 12 months, Ukrainian army has degraded Russian army so much that this paper tiger is now badly wounded, is unable to move. So, here we are, February 24th, and of course there still remains a risk that Russians will conduct a massive missile strike. They will do other things. And of course, what lies ahead the next couple of months, they will be very, very difficult and decisive. But the offensive that everybody was talking about, which everybody thought that would happen before February 24th, of course, the situation on the battlefield has intensified. There are more fierce fighting in certain parts of the front line. But at the same time, we've not seen, and I don't think we will now before February 24th, this large-scale offensive. There will be no whistle blown and tanks will not roll in.
Just quickly, of course, we saw Joe Biden made an extraordinary show of support for Ukraine when he visited Kiev this week and reconfirmed his support. Australia has tipped in another $33 million today. How significant was that message of support from the President and, of course, what you're now receiving from the rest of the West as we come to this anniversary?
The surprise visit of President Biden, of course, was a great show of support. And, it sent a very clear message to Russia. First of all, it sent a message that for Russia, this is an unsustainable and unwinnable war. It sent a message to Russia that the tactics of fear that they were hoping would work for them, they don't work. Ukraine is not afraid of Russia. The international community is not afraid of Russia. Nobody's afraid of Russia. Russia will be defeated on the battlefield, full stop. Now, and of course, we are grateful to Australia, to Australian government, the Australian people, for not just for the latest support package, but for standing with Ukraine throughout these difficult 12 months. We've seen, the support that we received from Australia was critical. For example, when we got the Bushmasters, they were really essential during the liberation of Kharkiv and the Kharkiv counteroffensive. And so, yes, we are very grateful, and we see a true friend in Australia. That's very reassuring.
Well, strength to your arm, Yuriy, Ukrainian Defence Ministry Advisor. Thank you for joining me tonight.